first thing you want to do is choose a format for your resume. That's going to be a design, basically like this. For the sake of this video, we're going to use a very simple format just to give you an idea. But ultimately, the first thing you want to do is choose your layout for your resume. This is important for a lot of different reasons. One being how you're going to organize your information. Two, how it's set up for your targeted job type. And three, depending on how much information you have, whether it's going to be 1 or 2 pages long. The next step in the resume building process is including your contact information in the header of the resume. So what you're going to want to do is include your name, your full name, your legal name, so the potential employer can verify who you are. You're going to want to include your phone number, a good email address, your contact address or location. Make sure to always use your zip code, because in the applicant tracking systems they use what's called a Boolean search, which basically they will search for candidates based on their zip code radius. So it's very important to include that. And then any other information, such as maybe a link to your LinkedIn profile, is definitely helpful. As we move down the resume, we're going to want to include an opening summary statement. So this is not going to be your traditional objective statement that was used in the past. However, you do want to include some sort of objective in this summary to show a potential employer that you have a clear direction in mind. So what this is going to be is sort of a hybrid. A summary of your skills, your experience, maybe some education, a clear direction of what you're trying to pursue at this stage in your career. This next section, which we call the key strengths section, you can also call it areas of expertise or skills and abilities. You can give this section various different titles, but this section is probably the most important section on the resume. The reason for this is today, resumes are scanned through what's called applicant tracking systems, better known as the ATS. When your resume is scanned through these systems, it works sort of like a search engine, where it's searching out for certain keyword phrases and matching what's the content on your resume against the job description that the employer has posted. So this section is very important in that you must make sure that you're hitting these right keywords in order for your resume to rank or score higher in these systems and get noticed above other candidates. This section is also very important visually for the human eye, as it shows a potential employer, when they're looking at your resume, your exact skills and key strengths and abilities without having to search through all of your work history and piece it together themselves. This not only saves the employer a lot of time, but it shows them that you know your background, that you know yourself, and that you know what your strengths are. And this carries a lot of weight, especially during the interview process. So with this particular resume, we're taking more of a functional approach. And what that means is we summarize your work experience into a core competencies section. This helps to eliminate the length of your resume and is especially important if you've worked in the same industry your entire career, or if you're making a career change and need to show the transferability of skills into a completely different industry. This section is also an expanded version of your qualifications and skills. It gives a potential employer deeper insight into your responsibilities, your strengths, and what you contributed to past positions. As we move down to the professional profile, or better called professional experience, it can be called career overview. We are basically taking a more simplistic approach here, as mentioned before, with a functional style format. So you can list responsibilities and achievements here, or you can just leave this blank if you don't have a whole lot of responsibilities and achievements. Or if you're making a complete career change, the core competencies section, as we mentioned before, is going to be the place to show that transferability. So if you happen to have a lengthy career with a lot of accolades and accomplishments and things like that, This is the section where you really want to put that information. You want to make sure that you show the results that you've produced, any quantifiable achievements, numbers, percentages, dollar amounts, things like that, which you may have contributed in prior roles. Moving down to the education history section, this is where you're going to put any college degrees, certifications, licenses, anything relevant to your current industry. You want to try to avoid including outdated licenses and certifications or anything that's not directly relevant to your targeted career path. That concept also basically goes with the entire resume writing process. You want to make sure that your resume is focused, targeted, honed in on your specific career path. Including irrelevant information on your resume should always be avoided if possible. It not only confuses the ATS systems and makes your resume rank lower in those systems, but it confuses a potential employer if they're visually looking at your resume with the human eye and they're seeing information that doesn't line up with their job description. They're not going to consider you for the position if your resume contains a lot of irrelevant information. When distributing your resume online to job boards or sending it via email directly to potential employers, you want to try to make sure you're using the latest version of Microsoft Office or Adobe PDF. Now, in the past, a lot of employers did not have the .docx file type, but that's probably changed over the past couple of years. So as long as you have Microsoft Office and Adobe PDF, it's best to send both versions just in case to give them the option of either or to open on their end. All of that being said, these are just the basics of resume preparation. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into resume writing, but this will at least get you started in the right direction. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial on resume preparation basics. Keep reading below for more resume writing tips from Careers Plus Resumes.